Yo, what's good, YouTube, man? It's Gary with Fan TV, man. Back at you another video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on all the videos, man. Let's get into today's topic, right? So listen, man, it was Ravens mandatory mini camp day one. Just want to talk about what the reporters are saying on there, who was there, who was not, a little bit of injury updates, and also some on-the-field action that some of the reporters saw, man. So let's just get right into it, all right? So first of all, great news. All players reported to mini camp. There was no absences there. Which makes the J.K. Dobbins thing kind of interesting, right? Because J.K. Dobbins was there for media day, obviously, but he did not practice, right? So apparently it's not like Stephon Diggs, whatever, where they're having some kind of issue. J.K. Dobbins just didn't practice. I don't know, maybe he's just ramping up slower. Also, his running back mate, Gus Edwards, doing individual drills, so that's cool. Now, injuries. Pepe Williams is going to be out to the start of training camp. Harbaugh hasn't said what his injury is. I tried to ask Justin Rebeck on Twitter, have you heard anything about it? He didn't give me an answer, so I don't know what Pepe Williams' injury is, but apparently he's out to the start of training camp, all right? But he was there today, I guess, doing kind of some individual work. Jalen Armour-Davis doing individual work, all right? Zay Flowers practicing. We know last week he had a thing where they called it a soft tissue tweak, right? That he will be back today or back for this week, and he's back. So there didn't seem to be anything that was really too much holding him back. So that's good news for the Ravens. I know us fans, we got a lot of, I don't even know what the correct word is for, but when we heard the words wide receiver, especially rookie wide receiver and injury, our antenna go up. Like, what's happening? What's going on? Is it a curse? What's happening, right? But apparently Zay Flowers was fine today. He's practicing. From the pictures I saw, it seemed like him and Odell Beckham were standing around each other a lot, so that's probably good. Maybe, Odell's talking to him, taking him under his wing, or they could have just been chatting, no big deal there. But either way, it's good news that the injury doesn't seem to be too serious and that he was out there practicing. So that's what I like to see. That's what I like to hear. Now, wide receiver who wasn't practicing, Rashad Bateman, okay? Rashad Bateman is still recovering from his foot injury from last season. Apparently today, or maybe not today, but a couple days ago, he had a cortisone shot, I guess, which is pretty much just a pain relief kind of thing in his foot. And Harbaugh said he's not going to practice too much. So Rashad Bateman wasn't in uniform today. He didn't have on a jersey or anything. He was just kind of watching practice on the side. So I guess the biggest question is that a big deal or no big deal, right? In June, I'm not going to overreact right now, just because it's far too early to overreact. But as we get further along in this off season, listen, man, mandatory minicamp, that's the next step till we get to the season. When training camp, to me, that's when the NFL season is really here, when training camp starts. But we're right in that before portion of training camp. So these are important reps. This is an important time for Bateman to get on the field. The fact that he's having more pain in his foot because of, you had to get that cortisone shot to relieve some of that pain, some of that swelling, that tension. It's not great news, but like I said, I'm not going to overreact to it right now. It's June. If he doesn't practice at mandatory minicamp at all, I'm fine with it. I'm glad he's there. Get around the guys, around the office some more. I'm cool with all of that. It's just something to keep our eye on as we go on later on in this process. Will Rashad Bateman get on the field? How soon will he get on the field, right? And when he does he look like himself, right? So these are all questions he got to answer. But right now, it's no point of rushing them on the field. They're in jersey and shorts. It's no point of rushing them on the field, bro. It's pointless right now. So we're going to play it calm. Say, all right, listen, they're playing the smart. They're taking it slow. We'll leave it at that, all right? You know what I mean? So now, also, Odell Beckham, man. Big news of the day is that Odell Beckham is, I guess he's been officially Raven for a while, but seeing him on the field, seeing him walk out, seeing the Ravens doing the hype videos for him, it's like officially, kind of feels real now. Like, oh, wow, we really have Odell Beckham Jr. on the Ravens, right? And to some other teams, that might not be a big deal, but for Ravens fans, man, this is huge, bro. A guy who was a star wide receiver, a big personality like that, who has had a ton of production in this league, when he's been healthy, it's a big deal. So seeing Odell Beckham Jr. out there was great. Like I mentioned earlier, he was hanging around Zay Flowers a lot, it seemed like. Odell, everywhere he's been, I know he has this rap as kind of like to the outside world as a diva or whatever, but his teammates love him. Every place he's been, whether it's Browns, Giants, it doesn't matter, Rams, his teammates have nothing but good things to say about the guy. So I think that he could be, trying to be a mentor to some of the wide receivers here and take him under his wing, show him how he gets down, and it's all positive, right? Now, as far as on the field stuff, they said Odell Beckham didn't do much, which is no surprise. He's still ramping up. I don't expect him to go full go right now, especially a mandatory minicamp. Ain't that big of a deal. He did have a catch today. Apparently, he caught a slant. I think let me see. Jonas Davidson might have said it was like a diving catch or something like that. So he did catch the slant out there. So hey, he's getting back there on the field. He's working. He's doing interviews. He seems to be in a good place with where he is at just as a football player, as a person. He seems to be in a good spot. Something that's interesting but not surprising. He said that him and Lamar Jackson will be working together in Florida during the break. That break between mandatory and then when they come back for training camp during that break. So they'll be working. I imagine he won't be the only Ravens wide receiver out there. Zay Flowers is obviously from that area. He'll probably be out there. Bateman and some other guys as well. But it's good to see that Odell and Lamar are going to work on their chemistry during their time off. But it's not surprising. Lamar has done this every offseason. He's a hard worker. He's a guy that you can depend on to put the work in to get the job done. So it's good to hear, but I'm not surprised by it, right? Now, as far as on the field stuff, right? Now, listen, like I said, this is helmets, jerseys, shorts, so it's not a big deal. But Jonas Schaefer, Jeff Sweetback, they gave some insight about what happened on the field today. Schaefer had Lamar Jackson at 26 of 35, so it's a good day, right? He said there was a few drops on offense, also some dropped interceptions as well, which is cool. We're working through a new offense. It happens, right? As far as the offensive side, the guys who stood out today, Isaiah Likely, Nelson Aguilar, and Devin Duvernay were all active parts of the offense, some of the more active parts of the offense. Now, Isaiah Likely is not too surprising, just considering the fact that they said Mark Andrews didn't do too much today. He was on the sideline a little bit. I don't think it's anything injury related, just ramping him up. Obviously, he wasn't here for the entirety of the OTA process. Isaiah Likely was, so he's probably in a little bit of a better shape as far as playing. So it's not a big deal at all. But as far as Isaiah Likely goes, Ravens have a lot of weapons, but they do need to figure out how to get Isaiah Likely on the field and get him touches, man. He is a talented player. I mentioned him a lot. I mentioned him a lot last year, but mentioned him a lot this year. I really, really like what Isaiah Likely could do as a tight end, and it'd be a shame if the Ravens don't figure out a way to make him a decent part of his offense, right? It's only one football. You only have so many receivers and tight ends who can get the ball. I get that, but he's a talented player, man. So I would love to see him on the field getting some more touches. And Aguilar, he's having a great summer so far. The early returns of Dustin Aguilar have been all positive, right? He's making catches. He's an active part of the offense. He's been there since the beginning, and I think he was pretty much here since the first OTA. So he's acclimating himself well, and he's playing well. Like, listen, I said before, I wasn't the biggest fan of Nelson Aguilar signing when we didn't have other receivers in the building. But now that he's here and his role is not going to be as big as I thought it was originally, he can help this team a lot, right? He really can. So I hope that these strong summer practices just keep building and lead on to a strong season for Nelson Aguilar, right? Because I'm a Ravens fan at the end of the day. I want to see every single guy succeed. I'm going to give my personal opinion on whether I like the sign at the time or not. That's just how it goes. But I'll never root for a Ravens player to fail. So I hope Nelson Aguilar continues this form all the way into the season, hopefully. And Devin Duvernay, man. Duvernay's being slept on. He's a good football player. He's not just a kick returner, not just a punt returner. I believe he's even more than just a gadget guy. I believe he's a good football player, so hopefully he continues that as well. Now, on defense, they said Darius Washington had an interception. I don't know if he intercepted Lamar Jackson or Tyler Huntley or Josh Johnson. I don't know who he picked off, but apparently he had an interception, okay? Rocket Sin almost had an interception today. He stepped in front of a pass that was going to Odell Beckham. So I'm assuming if he's going to Odell Beckham and Rocket Sin is out there, that's probably Lamar Jackson throwing that ball. So that's against the first team offense, first team defense. So Rocket Sin, love it. Darius Washington, a name that I haven't talked about as far as being in that nickel corner mix. He's in that mix for sure. The Ravens have made sure to keep Darius Washington on his roster, all right? He has potential. He's quick. He's solid. He can play a couple different positions for the Ravens, but that slot position, it really could be his spot. With Pepe missing reps, with Jalen Armour-Davis not being able to be a full participant, this is Darius Washington's time to really shine. And we'll see what he can do with that, man. So I'm excited to see what Darius Washington can do with this kind of expanded snap count, honestly, during this early part of the summertime. All right. And lastly, we keep hearing about these guys. The pass rush duo of David Ojabo and Odafe Oweh flashed again today in practice. Now, once again, who knows how hard the guys are going. Obviously, you're not hitting the quarterback. Nobody's touching Lamar Jackson during this part of the season. So but they're flashing. This is what Jordan Schaefer said, that, they were part of the stand-up performance on defense. Hey, I want to keep hearing that because the Ravens, as I've said many times before, they need Ojabo. They need Oweh to have big, big seasons. All right. Between the two guys, they probably need to have somewhere between, this total, not saying individually, but 15 sacks, right? So if that's 7.5 apiece, great. But they need to have production out of these two guys this year. And it starts now. Odell Beckham had a good training camp last year, good OTs, all that last year. And I don't think he was as bad last season as the stats portrayed or as Ravens fans make him out to be. He just didn't finish. If he can finish this year, we'll have a much better season, all right? But listen, that's what I got from from Mandatory Minicamp Day 1. So some good news out there, man. So OBJ, Zay Flowers practicing, love it. J.K. Dobbins, we'll keep an eye on that. And Lamar Jackson is looking sharp to start off, man. So yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see what anything interesting happens day 2. I might bring it back with the same kind of video, man. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on all the videos, man. It's Gabriel, just another Fan TV. I'm out.